Welcome to Quick Shots, a short format traditional archery podcast, where we introduce you to some of the world's most influential traditional archers, and occasionally, some random dudes. Hey everyone, and before we get started, if you like this content and want to support the channel, there are 4 easy ways to do that. 1, subscribe below. 2, like the video. 3, leave a quick comment. Or 4, if you really like us, please consider doing all 3 and tipping me at Venmo at Mick-Chambers. Even a buck or two goes a long way in helping me produce more great content like this. Thanks to all my single string family. Enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome back to Quick Shots. I'm your host, Mick Chambers. I'm here with Santo. Man, it's been a while since I saw you last, and it's so great to see you, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, buddy. It's good to see you too.
It's awesome to see you. I mean, and just out and about. And thanks for being on the show. Hey, man, I know you really well, but maybe our listeners might not. Why don't you give us your traditional archery origin story?
So, my origin story.
Yeah, like what? Just kind of tell us, how you came to shoot traditional archery.
So, I was like 10, 11 years old. I had an uncle that was really into bow hunting, all traditional back then, and he gave me a 76 Bear Kodiak. It was a Kodiak Hunter, and I couldn't even pull it back, but I hung that thing on my wall and I tried to shoot it and failed miserably. Went to compound for, when I turned 16 and was able to drive, we went to a local bow shop and we all bought compounds. 4 of my friends, we all got compounds the same day. And I think we shot every deer in the woods, over the next couple of years. But it was traditional, came back to me when I went back to work in that bow shop after my normal job. I went back to work for the guy in his bow shop. He taught me how to build arrows, set up compounds, and I did that for quite a long time. But he was a big traditional hunter as well. And he went all over the world with a recurve in his hand. And he took just about everything you could with a recurve. And it was kind of inspirational to me. He actually made me give him back one of my compounds when I told him I wanted to shoot traditional. He said, well, you give me your compound and I'll teach you how to shoot traditional. And that's when it all started. I didn't start competing until about 15 years ago. Just local stuff here in Eastern PA and New Jersey. We actually have quite a few tournaments around here, local stuff, nothing big. We're going to
touch on that a little bit. I'm kind of interested about PA and why that's sort of the mecca of traditional archery. I mean, there's so many people out there that do trad archery. It's crazy.
Yeah. So the area that I live in is now in Pennsylvania is called Bucks County, and it's just loaded with deer. They just did a survey of my town. There's 104 deer per square mile.
Oh my God. How are they eating? I mean, you guys must have good vegetation.
Yeah, that's the thing. So right now they just had they're having USDA snipers come in along with a hunting program. We ran the hunting. They ran the hunting program for a couple of years, allowing hunters access to people's properties, and it didn't really make a dent. And when the population is that high, it's hard to make a dent in it. A lot of guys are trophy hunting too. They're not shooting does. They're waiting for that big buck to come by, because in PA you're only allowed 1 buck per season.
Right. Same Kansas.
Yeah.
Same in Kansas. Yeah. And so they had a culling, and still you got a bunch of does wandering around.
Yeah. They flew drones over our township and actually counted as many as they could, I guess, with infrared. I watched it on YouTube. It was
okay. How many times
pretty informative.
Dude, how many times have you been sitting in a stand and go, Man, I wish I just had a drone. I think I heard something over there. I wish I just had a drone video. I could be looking on my phone. I'd be like, okay, it's coming. The big one's coming. Don't
Well,
take this shot.
you don't need a drone around here. I guess it was last year, or the year before. It was the year before last. Uh, I shot 15 deer in one season.
You can do that?
Oh yeah, you can shoot as many does as you want as long as you have a tag for them. So
Okay.
you just have to buy the tags.
That would make deer. I think we're 5 tags in Kansas
Yeah.
for total. So that means that you get one, one with antlers, and then 4 antlerless. That's
You
great.
get 2 here. You get a 1 buck permit, and I believe a doe tag comes with your permit. I'm not really sure about that because I always buy doe tags. We have to, and in fact, our township gives them out for free. If you want a doe hunt, you can go to the township building and they will give you a red tag. You just have to fill the form out for free. It doesn't cost anything.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, hey, we're getting a little off topic. Let's go back.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started off archery. You got a bow given to you, and it was a bad experience because it was too heavy, right? You mean you just couldn't?
It was a great experience.
Okay.
I was too small. I was a big kid at 10 years old. I think I was 5'11" and probably close to 180 pounds. So, but I wasn't strong, and I couldn't pull it back. So I put it down, and I went to compound because you can adjust that thing down to 50 pounds and go. And all of my friends, there was 4 of us. We grew up on the same road, and we all got the same bow. It was a high country safari when they came out. I think it was 89. We all bought the same exact bow, same exact setup. But it took me until, I guess it was like about 15 years ago, I went and shot. A friend of mine or actually my cousin said, hey, let's go. You want to go to a tournament, a 3D tournament? And I had no idea what it was. I never shot 3D before. And I went with him to a tournament at Black Knight Bow Benders down in Jackson, New Jersey. And it was great. I lost a dozen arrows. It was awesome. I had so much fun. It was in the snow. It was in February.
Wait, is that that was with your recurve or?
Yeah.
Oh.
I took that recurve and I actually had a brand new set of Three Rivers arrows that I just got, and I lost every one of them that day.
An expensive day. That's an expensive day.
I went home without any arrows, but I had fun, and that really changed it for me that day. Even though I lost every arrow I had, I was hooked from that day on, and it's been an amazing journey since, really.
Yeah, let's dive into that a little bit about this amazing journey. So you've had success now. So 15 years later, like, when did you start becoming really successful in shooting?
Well, I look at archery like a roller coaster. I've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs, I'm very fortunate that I surrounded myself with the very best archers out there. And I think that's what helped me along tremendously, I really, the first big tournament I went to was Lancaster. I believe it was 2014 or 2015. I through mutual friends, I met John Demmer, and he said to me that, hey, they're having this tournament at Lancaster. It was the first year they had it. And you should go, you're doing well, you should come. And I didn't go because I was scared. I was afraid. Man, I'm not that good. There's no way. I had already won like all the local stuff around here. Like, I have these plaques and trophies from all the local shoots, but I didn't want to make that jump to go. I thought they were professionals. I'm like, man, I'm not good enough to go there. So I didn't go. A year later, same conversation. I sign up to Lancaster and I go. And who's my bailmate is Calvin Smock.
Oh yeah. Nice.
So how lucky does a guy get, right? You can call John Demmer for advice, and the first guy you meet at the shoot is Calvin Smock.
Yeah.
So I shot with Calvin. I showed up to that shoot with a 58-inch, 52-pound Dryad Epic ILF longbow. Yeah. my first arrow of the shoot was a Pinwheel X.
Oh, nice.
I don't think I hit the target again after that.
So okay, you know how I know you're a champion, you're a competitor, is that, if put me in that situation and my bailmate was Calvin Smock, I'd be like, yeah, my hands are like this the rest of the time. I'm like, I gotta shoot in front of Calvin. Oh no.
Well, I didn't know him at that point.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I didn't know who he was because I wasn't in that scene. I've never went to those shoots. I didn't follow anything, so I didn't really know who he was until that day.
Okay.
And he wasn't the one to tell me. There was all these other people were like, oh, you know who you're shooting with. That guy's won the IBO like 7 times. I'm like, wow. But it started a great relationship from that day, and it got me into shooting more tournaments. Calvin was the one that talked me into going to Trad Worlds that first year, which I think that was that same year, 15. And I don't do good at Trad Worlds, and I haven't figured it out yet. Like I think I've got 3rd in the bow hunter challenge, but as far as I shoot modern longbow, so as far as the normal tournament, I don't think I've ever come like above 6th place.
Yeah, that's still really good. Okay, so those are the best archers in North America. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So 6th place isn't terrible.
It's not terrible.
If I was 6th in North America in terms of that's not terrible. So I mean it's a little bit of not a flex, but it's not.
Yeah, I never drove home crying. Every time I've gone to Trad Worlds, whether it was at Pappy's or in West Virginia at Pipestem, I've always learned something. I've always taken something back with me that made me progress as an archer.
Yep. Good.
One year I was in, and this is a really cool story. One year when we were at Pipestem, I had the first 2 days I shot on fire. And then the last day it was in the woods. It was dark. I couldn't see. I just completely fell apart. And so I was packing up to go home. I'm like, I'm not even going, to the last 20 targets or whatever it was on Sunday morning. I was like, I'm not even going. I'm just going to go home. And I'm literally walking to my truck, and I see this guy shooting by himself on the practice range, and he's just drilling it. I mean, when I'd say drilling, 25 yards, baseball-sized groups, So I sat down behind him and just watched him shoot. And it calmed me down, just watching this guy shoot and how fluent he was. And I didn't really talk to him that much. I just said, hey, but watching him shoot so well and how clean and smooth he was, I'm like, man, I need to do that. I need to just get back in my head and get it together.
Yeah.
That guy was Randy Irvine.
Oh, okay.
So, I talked to him for a little bit, and he kind of, if you ever talk to Randy Irvine, it's like talking to an old friend. He's like, you need to just calm down and get back in the game and go have fun. And again, I think that year I came in 5th or 6th or 5th or something like that. But you said, it's great just being there and being around all those guys. You know.
And I think there's a common theme. Again, I keep saying this over and over again. I'm a broken record. I'm sorry, but there's a common theme here. When you meet some of the best archers in the United States and in North America, because I'm Canadian, the Canadians in there. I think they are just they want to share, they want to teach, they want to coach, they want to help, right?
Yeah.
You run into the odd one that's not right now, I'm focused, I can't do that, which is cool, right? You got to back off someone who's focused in
You got to know the time and place
time and place.
to engage,
And if you get that correct, you almost to a man or woman, they will sit down, they'll talk to you, and they'll give you the time of day, and they'll help you get better. It's the strangest thing. It's like, hey, we're going to eventually compete against each other, but you're making me better every single time. And they love that. They love that. You mentioned a guy, John Demmer. I'm not familiar with that. Can you, who's that?
He's a nobody.
So anyway, but Demmer gets a great reputation of just like coaching his competition. It's just like making them better.
That's what it's about. It is. It's what it's about. It's everybody. I've never met somebody that hasn't put their hand out to help.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing. Hey, so we talked a little bit. You mentioned it for like 2 brief seconds, but let's go back to it. You said that you are a longbow, modern longbow competitor. So are you? So is that? Well, first, one question. Are you off to next weekend? Are you going to is it next weekend, the weekend after, to the championship in
Trad World?
Trad World?
I'm not really sure yet. So I actually was just talking to Paul today about it. It's 15 hours for me to get there.
Yeah. Paul Helms.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a long ride, and I want to see everybody. That would be the reason I jump in the truck and go.
Yeah.
And it's hot, man. It's hot.
So hot. Tennessee was so hot. It was brutal.
You walked up to my truck that time. We had my truck running with the air blasting.
I was like boiling, man. I was carrying that camera around, trying to get everyone, trying to meet new people. It was so hot, dude. It was so hot.
Yeah.
And that's another reason you said maybe, at least in Tennessee, I don't practice a lot of uphill and downhill shots because my 3D course doesn't have it. Yeah. And so I'm kind of at a disadvantage when I go there anyway. But anyway, it was so hot and you're like sweating, like you're drenched the whole time.
Yeah.
And hydrating.
My wife told me, she's like, you should go a day early so you can and I think that's one of the problems I have at Trad Worlds is I sit in that truck for 15 hours, and it's like, by the time I get there, I'm worn out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
are you going to ETAR then? Were you thinking of going to ETAR?
So ETAR got moved to Sawmill.
Yep.
I'm probably going to go for maybe go up Friday night. One of the guys that works for me, his dad has a farm 2 miles from the original ETAR site at Denton Hill. Yeah. So we have a condo to stay in. We have an apartment to stay in if we want to go. And I might go. I mean, because I'm not doing much this year. I messed my back up a little bit earlier in the year. And so I didn't have plans to do anything this year after the injury. But things are getting better, and I did pretty good so far this year. So who knows?
Oh, I lost you. Hey, I just want to remind our viewers that and listeners that I will be at ETAR this year from 22nd to 25th. I'll be conducting interviews just like this one I'm doing with Santo. And you don't have to be a superstar or a rock star like Santo. You can be a common person. If you want to come up, get interviewed, we're going to be doing 10-minute interviews, quick ones to say, hey, who am I? Where am I from? How are you enjoying ETAR? That sort of thing. And I'll be roving around. And I got a special guest host, Nancy Leah Woods, who's kind of cool and a lot more interesting and fun than me. So you get to meet her too. And so we're going to go around. We're going to be doing these interviews. We are going to be doing extended interviews with some of the bigger names that show up at the event. And we're going to be doing an ETAR experience. So we're going to film the entire event. We're going to get a bunch of different views. We're going to show people how, where, the different courses, what they look like, what the experience of coming to ETAR is. So if you can't make it to ETAR, make sure that you follow us on Archery Geek at YouTube and then listen to our podcast, because we're going to have live shows. We're going to be doing a bunch of cool stuff. So just kind of follow us on Instagram. That's Nancy Leah Woods, Archery_Geeks. on Instagram, and then Archery Geek on YouTube. So I wanted to get that in there, Santo. So I
Right.
appreciate it because I
ETAR
think
is a great time.
it's going to be such a fun time, and I
Yeah.
want everyone to experience it and just get their moment to say hi to everyone. So
It's
hey,
so cool because there's no pressure. You know, everybody's there to have fun or
yep,
buy stuff. You
yeah,
know, so it's just it's every time I've been there, it's been a blast.
yeah, I can't wait, and I can't wait to see guys like you and just hang out and
Yeah.
just walk the course a little bit. Hey,
Yeah.
so I want to get back to a little bit. So you're in the modern longbow class.
Yeah.
What is your setup right now? What's your bow setup? And
So this year I've been shooting for Three Rivers. Not that I've been shooting a whole lot because of my back injury, but I'm shooting a 17-inch DOS.
Yep.
Off the shelf with a push side plate AccuTune.
AccuTune. Yeah.
Yep. You want to see it? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Bring it out. What do you got? How beautiful that is. Oh, look at that. Some bare bow arrows too in there. That is nice.
Now these are I have the bare bow arrows and they're really heavy. So
Yeah, they're real heavy.
These are some arrows I made for when I tried out for the USA 3D team.
That's awesome, man. Those are cool.
Yeah, so they stick with me as a reminder of what my end goal here is.
Oh, that's really good. That's a pretty bow.
Thanks. And I'm shooting a Java Man limbs, and they were new to me last year with the riser, and I have a couple Java Man's bows, and Greg makes great products, and he's an awesome guy. So I wanted to support him. And if you're making ILF longbow limbs, I probably already have them or are going to buy them soon. So
I know there's not a lot, right? I mean, I don't think that
there's not. There used to be a couple more, but we lost a few along the way. Some good ones too. But yeah, it's fun. And I picked that class honestly because it's what I hunted with.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked it. When I went to Trad Worlds that first year, I'm like, oh, I can shoot the bow that I've been hunting with. Like, why not? So
what poundage are you sitting at?
I've come way down. Right now I shoot about 42 pounds.
Okay, 42. And then is that the same for hunting or no?
No, for hunting I try to bump it up to like anywhere from 45 to 48, depending on the bow. If it's an ILF bow, I typically are on the lower side. I feel like it just feels better on my fingers. If I'm getting like a one-piece bow, I'll bump it up to like 47 or 48.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for competition, what arrows did you say you're shooting?
Right now, what am I shooting? I'm shooting right now, for the past 4 or 5 years, I've been shooting the recurve RZs.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay. In that class, you don't have to shoot woodies.
No. So modern longbow, you can use an ILF as long as it's off the shelf, and you can shoot any arrow you want. So
what are you using for a tab?
The best tab ever.
I don't recognize that. What is that?
No, the best tab ever.
Yost.
Yeah, I won salesman of the year last year for Yost.
Did you?
Yeah. I think I've given away more than I probably, should have, but I don't know. I think I have 20 some in my collection now. And everybody I talk to, I'm just like, you got to shoot a Yost. All the guys around here, they all have them. They threw out their gloves and they're shooting a Yost tab.
Yeah. It's funny. Yost is excellent. Awesome. Love them. Yost will be sponsoring me at this year's ETAR to do all that event. So, which is really good. Three Rivers will also be a sponsor of ours. And Lancaster Archery will also be a sponsor. So we've got a lot of firepower behind us. We're going to have a lot of fun there at ETAR. But I want to go back to the Yost tab. It's funny. And there'll be people watching this that are traditional archers and they're like, no, I got a glove. That's traditional. I do shoot split finger and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And we were at Trad World, and Rod Jenkins, famously known for winning that, I don't know, half a dozen times or something like that. Just an amazing archer, right?
Yeah.
And trained Jimmy Blackman And he's got something on the push too that and he's going to be here in Kansas around the same time that ETAR is going on. Actually, Cody is hosting him. So if all that stuff together is just to say that Rod was given a seminar. It was a free seminar, and we were sitting and watching it. And he said, "All right, how many of you guys are shooting a glove right now?" And then there's like two guys put up their hands, and he goes, "Stop it now! Just get rid of it. Go to a tab."
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I shot a glove for years, and I tried to find the best glove I could get, and Bear Paw makes a pretty nice glove. That speed glove that they make is
I like that.
pretty good. And I met Eric at Lancaster. I went out to Lancaster on a weekend, and I went there on a weekend to shoot with Demmer. And Eric came, and that's where I met him. And he's like, "Oh, here, try one of these." And I've never looked back. I mean, they're just it's so clean. I can get such a clean release, and it's hard. It's hard trying to get guys that are traditional glove shooters to even try one. They'll try it for a couple of shots and be like, "I don't like it."
Yeah,
I did the same thing. When I first got it, I'm like, "I don't like this thing," and I just stuck with it. I'm like, wow, my groups are better. I had to retune my bow a little bit because I was now tighter to my face. And
yeah.
so, but they do, tabs are great.
So this is a good segue into, I'd like to understand your shot process, start to finish, as much detail as you want to give us. I'd love to hear anything you can tell us about. You get up to the line, then what happens?
I just start shaking.
Yeah, me. Oh, that's me.
So the first thing I always do is I make sure my grip is right on my bow. To me, that's one of the most important things is your grip and your bow arm. I've seen a lot of guys, and I'm one of them, that they have a good process, but their bow arm they're always searching. We used to call it peekaboo. You let go and you're looking for the bow comes down right away. And I think that's one of the biggest problems I've seen. I help. I don't like to call it coaching because I don't have any kind of certificates yet, but I help 4 or 5 different people here at my house once a week. And
nice.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing I've seen is that bow arm. And I'm I do it myself once in a while. That bow arm drops because you're wanting to see, oh, did I make it? Did I hit it good?
Yeah.
But the first thing I do when I step up to a stake is I always, I put a little pressure on the string and I set my grip. I think grip is one of the most important aspects of your shot. I don't have like a real ingrained process like most of these guys do. I'll check my distance. I'm pretty good at judging yardage. I think that's added to some of the success that I've had. Mm-hmm. When I bring my bow arm up before I even start drawing, and as I'm coming back, I'm constantly bouncing between the target and my arrow tip. I'm a gap shooter, so I'm constantly checking where my tip of my arrow is on that target. Once I know my distance, I know, do I need to be 4 inches high, 6 inches low, whatever. One of the other things is finding the right setup. So I have a setup that is fast enough that at 25 yards I set everything at 27 yards.
Okay.
So my bow is quick enough and my arrows are light enough that my gaps aren't that big. So on a normal 3D course, if it's the average shot is 25, 27 yards, I'm either at the top of the 10 or the bottom of the 10.
Okay.
So I don't have to, because of the length of my arrow, the poundage of my bow, my draw length, it all comes into play. Because I've talked to a lot of guys and they're like, how do you have a gap that's 4 inches high or 4 inches low or 6 inches? And I'm like, and I figured it out over the years. Every aspect plays a part in your gap. Your bow poundage, your arrow length, your arrow tip weight, your arrow weight,
your anchor point.
Yeah. So most people are anchoring with their finger in the corner of their mouth. I mean, that's what you mostly find, especially with new people. That's the first thing they tell you. One of the first things I do is I tell people before they even come to my house to learn anything, I was like, go watch this push video, and then we'll go over what you've taken from it. But most people anchor, right in the corner of their mouth, or they use that canine tooth. Especially for a lot of the classes, bare bow, they could be, it all depends where they're walking. But that's what I do. I walk up to the stake, I grab the string, I put a little pressure on it, make sure my grip is right. I do one thing that's a little different. When I come to full draw, I actually use feather to nose, but not as a trigger. I use it as an alignment. Okay. So as long as my index finger is touching that tooth and my nose hits the feather, the string is on my eyebrow. There's 3 points of contact.
Oh, nice. Nice.
that keep me in alignment. And the rest is really up to me as far as the pressure. If you target panic will take over and you're shaking all over the place, but if you stay calm and your alignment's good, it'll get there. And that's basically all I do. I mean, I do bounce back and forth looking at the target, checking, because of my gap.
But okay, so awesome. So how about, what would you, of all those things, or maybe there's something different, what piece of advice would you give a new archer, like someone who wants to improve? What's your secret sauce?
So there's no secret, and you've heard people say it 1,000 times. Go find an old archer. And that is the best advice that anyone could ever give you. It's somebody gave me that advice and it worked. I'm very fortunate, and I say this a lot, I'm very fortunate to have the very best archers on my speed dial. So I can call John Demmer any time of day or night. I can call Fawn Gerard any time of day or night. I can call Calvin. I can call Dwayne. I made friends with the best out there, and it really helps. I mean, over the years, I've learned everything I've learned from these people. And they've helped me along the way. If I had a question about something, or I pick up the phone and call any one of them, they'll always answer their phone.
Yeah, among among personable people, Santo would be the most personable person. You're easy to get along with, easy to talk to, and you're a good guy. Hey, we're about at the end here. Is there anything else you want to let our listeners know, or anything interesting?
I don't know. We have we got a good group going for Triple T strings.
Yep.
I got to mention them guys. We talk every day, and there's a bunch of us on there that we help each other. Trevor's doing a great job of running that group. And
I'll give a shout out too. So, I mean, you're talking about shooters. I'm just going to talk about the product for a second.
Yeah.
If you are a new archer,
Mm-hmm.
and you're getting a bow set up, do yourself a massive favor. Go get a Triple T string. Here's why. They're good. Okay. There's a lot of good strings out there, but they're a little bit better than good. And he puts the knocks on for you. He ties the string knocks on for you. And I just find that it's so convenient. Like this is what I'm going to do, Santo. I'm actually, when this bow behind me, when the knocks fall off of it, I might just order a new string, because they're such a pain to tie. No one does a good job like him. I mean,
Trevor has a really good video out there on how to tie those knocks. Yeah. I'll tell you this story real quick. Yeah. So I've had a little success at TAS, at the Traditional Archery Society. Every year that I've ever shot it, I placed somewhere in the top 3. 7 times, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times.
Wow.
Yeah. So last year was a really good year for us. Paul and I were the team competition. We won that. And then I won modern longbow. The week before that shoot, Trevor sent me a string the week before the shoot. And I put it on my bow that night, started shooting it. And was it the string? I tell him it's the string all the time just because he likes getting his ego fed.
Yeah.
But a really well-made string does make a difference.
Yeah.
And, I shot other people's strings in the past 15 years, and I think he's doing the best job out there as far as Flemish strings go, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. We should mention that he does only Flemish twist strings. And
Yeah.
I like him. I like him for hunting. I like him for being traditional, more traditional. Anyway, it's good. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, so if our listeners or viewers want to follow you or
Yeah.
where can they do that?
It's just my name. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I don't do anything else. I'm too old for that stuff.
We'll get you on TikTok here soon.
Yeah, maybe one day. It's just my full name, Santo Armano. Instagram, mostly tile pictures, but
Yeah. Tile Mafia.
Tile Mafia, brother.
Awesome, man. Don't forget that again, we're going to be at ETAR this year, man. And Santos sounds like he might be there too for a day. So come and join us. Don't be shy. Reach out to Nancy Leah Woods or myself on Instagram. If you want to be interviewed, we'll make time for you, man. We'll make time. We have time for the traditional archery community. We love you guys so much. And bring cash, because there's it's gonna be a lot of cool products there too. And I'm gonna get video of all that stuff, all the really cool stuff. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Santo, I appreciate you getting on here with me. It's short timing too. Thank you so much, man.
Anytime, brother. It's always good to talk to you.
All right, man. Take it easy, everyone. Talk to you next time.